diving into a story. It'll make you question, well, a lot. Truth, justice, power, how institutions work, you know. We're talking Captain Brad Geary, Navy SEAL. Found himself in the middle of, it was a huge controversy for naval special warfare.
This story, it really shows you, like, the tension that can happen between someone doing what they think is right and a powerful organization like the Navy pushing back.
We're going deep on this one. One source, it's Captain Geary's interview on the Sean Ryan Show. He was really open, really honest. This isn't like just reading the news. This is straight from someone who went through a nightmare. Accused of negligence, when a SEAL candidate died, Captain Geary was cleared, all charges eventually. But to clear his name, well, some messed up stuff about how the Navy works, it came out.
It's a tragedy how it starts. A SEAL candidate, Kyle Mullen, dies during Bud's SEAL training. Brutal, everyone knows that. At first, the investigation, it looked like maybe performance-enhancing drugs.
But then, like, the Navy did a 180.
Yeah, they changed their story, kind of backed off what they first said, and suddenly, all the blame, it was on Captain Geary. He was in command at the time. Makes you wonder what they were trying to hide, right?
This is where institutionalization comes in, or whatever you call it.
It's like this. You've got this huge organization, the Navy. They've got their history, how they do things. There's so much pressure to look good. Sometimes, even the leaders, good people, they end up protecting the organization more than trying to find out what really happened.
Not good. And for Captain Geary, it felt like hitting a brick wall. He tried, went through the right channels, but every time, resistance, roadblocks, nothing. Like they wanted to bury it all.
So he went public. Big deal, that Sean Ryan interview. Gave Captain Geary a way to tell it all, no filter. And the public, they were not happy.
It was huge. People were outraged. And all that attention, the media, some congressmen, senators got on board. The Justice for Warriors caucus, they were loud. It put the heat on the Navy. They had to respond.
That's how it works sometimes. Public pressure. Even the biggest organizations have to answer to it. And as things got more attention, well, the truth started coming out, bit by bit.
It comes down to evidence, right? Captain Geary, he was up against the Navy, and they kept changing their story. But some things, you can't ignore them. Text messages from Kyle Mullen's phone. They showed drug use all over the place. Among the candidates, photos too. Drugs in Mullen's car.
Yeah.
And then reports came out, totally cleared the medical staff who were there.
And get this. At first, the Navy wouldn't give any of that to Captain Geary's lawyers. That's suspicious, don't you think? What didn't they want people to see?
It seems like they cared more about looking good than finding the truth.
You got it. And we can't forget Captain Geary, his family, the whole SEAL community. This wasn't some legal thing, abstract. It was personal, painful for everyone.
Definitely. Captain Geary talks about it, you know, how it messed him up. Mentally, emotionally, being falsely accused, shut out by the very people he served with his whole life.
Right.
This story, it forces you to think about it. Institutional injustice, what it really does to people. In this case, it also brings up a bigger problem in the military, suicide.
It's true. The military, they're all about zero defects, right? You screw up even a little, it can wreck your career. And then asking for help, seen as weakness, so people stay silent, and that can be deadly. This has to change.
Breaks your heart. But even with all this darkness, Captain Geary saw hope. In the new generation of SEALs, Gen Z, their courage, integrity, how they always work as a team, even in the middle of this mess, it inspired him. It's kind of wild, right? After all that, he still believes in the future of naval special warfare, especially when it comes to Gen Z. You know, like they're a whole new thing, tech savvy, all about new ideas, and they don't just accept the way things are.
Yeah, it's not just him being hopeful, though. Geary even says Gen Z, they won't put up with what they see as outdated, inefficient. They ask why. They want better.
Exactly. And Geary's like, the Navy should be excited about that.
No.
He compares it to, like, Monster Garage.
Yeah.
You know, give these young guys the tools, let them experiment, see what they come up with.
That's a great way to put it. Changes how we usually think about the military, you know? All strict and top-down. This is like, trust the young guys, give them space, innovation will explode.
That's what he's saying. And one place they need that is how the military buys new stuff. It takes forever to get anything new to the people who actually use it.
It's crazy slow. Especially with how fast tech moves, right? How war changes overnight sometimes.
Yeah.
Geary talked about Ukraine, good example. They're innovating every 30 days. New tactics, new tech, all the time.
Not even close to how the military does it now. Geary even told this story. Some young SEALs, they basically built their own drone system on their own time. They saw a need, nobody else was filling it.
Makes you wonder, what could those guys do if they had real support? Resources to actually develop their ideas?
Right. But there's pushback, you know? The old guard in the Navy, they don't like change.
Well, yeah, big institutions, they get stuck in their ways even when it's obvious it's not working anymore.
It's sad. Creates a gap, you know? Gen Z, they're leaving the service. Rather, deal with the bureaucracy, the frustration.
Big problem for the Navy. If they can't keep good people, they're going to fall behind other countries. They're competing. Got to stay ahead.
And it's not just about losing talented people, is it? It's that human cost we were talking about. The suicide rate in the military.
You're right. Captain Geary, he thinks the way the military punishes people, it's part of the problem. They assume you're guilty, the punishments, they don't fit the crime a lot of times, makes people afraid. Even a small mistake can ruin your career.
Like they're set up to fail, almost. And then add the pressure to be perfect, the stigma of mental health. No wonder some people feel trapped, like they have nowhere to go.
It's a bad situation all around. And it goes back to that idea, institutional betrayal. That's what happened to Captain Geary. Ignored, shut out, accused by the very people he gave his life to serve.
It's heartbreaking. But Geary, he's doing something about it.
Yeah.
He wants to create this civilian military defense fund. Amazing idea, really. Gives legal help, financial support to service members who are facing these bogus accusations, but they can't afford lawyers, you know?
We need that. Going up against the military in court, it's David and Goliath. Most people in the service, they can't fight back. Not really.
And the best part? Geary's not just talking. He's putting his own money in. Him and his team, they're building this fund, going to start taking donations soon. It's inspiring, you know? Taking something awful and turning it into something good, that helps others.
Says a lot about him, He's not all talk, he's taking action.
And this is important, right? These changes, it's not about making the military nice or whatever. It's about national security. If your military is demoralized, slow, inefficient, you're going to lose to your enemies.
Exactly. Any military, their strength is the people. If the Navy wants to stay on top, they got to start listening to people like Captain Geary, innovative, courageous, embrace change. It's needed desperately.
Geary was so open, about how this whole thing messed him up personally. We don't hear that side of it often. Really makes you think.
We hear about the cases, the facts, but not the emotional impact, how it breaks people down,
Reading about it's one thing, but hearing him, Captain Geary, describe it, those dark times, the fear, feeling like a failure, worthless, it hit hard.
Yeah, makes you think. Even the best people, you'd think they got it all figured out, but injustice, it can crush anyone.
It was real for him, right?
Yeah.
Not just some fight, some case. His life, reputation, family, everything was on the line.
But he's resilient. Came out of that darkness, found meaning, even a new purpose.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
His faith, that was a big part of it. He talks about this, I don't know, like a dream. He felt God there, giving him comfort, guidance.
Happens a lot, People in those situations, they find something bigger than themselves to hold on to. We all need that, I think. Connection, hope, even when things are bad.
Makes you think, for sure. And that idea of finding your worth in something bigger, not just success, that comes up a lot in the interview.
It's a good message. I think a lot of people feel that, right? Especially now, everyone's telling you to achieve, gotta have status, all that.
Yeah, totally. And it ties into what he wants to see change in the military, It's not just rules, policies, it's the whole culture. Seeing everyone's worth, no matter their rank, what they've done.
A more human way to lead. Caring about people, helping them grow, but still getting the mission done.
We could use more of that.
Yeah.
Not just in the military, everywhere.
Absolutely. So, big question for everyone listening. What are you taking away from this, Captain Geary's story? What stuck with you?
For me, it's like a wake-up call. Even the biggest institutions, they can be wrong. And those mistakes, they hurt people badly. Gotta have courage. Stand up, tell the truth, even when it's hard.
He makes us think about the systems we're in. Are they helping us or just themselves? And what can we do to change them, make them better? For us, for everyone.
Big questions. But maybe that's the point, right? Captain Geary wants us to think, to challenge things, keep fighting for what's right.
Well said. That's it for our deep dive on Captain Brad Geary. Hope you found it interesting, inspiring like we did.
Until next time, keep searching, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.